Welcome, Jenni Bush. I am so happy you agreed to be in this interview because I'm interviewing primarily women who have something to share with others, who are also looking into time and, in your case, starting a business. Because I have many women who wonder what that is like and who would like to start their own business, but they don't dare to take the leap. So thank you for being part of this interview.
You're very welcome. I'm very looking forward to it.
Can you start with describing the business that you have?
I have two businesses. One, mainly I work with businesses for their marketing. So I have one business that specialises in equestrian businesses, and I help equestrian entrepreneurs and people in the equestrian industry to develop their marketing, to get their social media, to get their funnels, to get that side of the business working for them, so they're using the online tools to market their business as best they can. And I do a similar thing for generic businesses under Jenni Bush, which is my other business.
Yeah, you have two. And I think one of the things you told me early on was that actually it was when you really found your niche in equestrian that things took off. I think that is interesting because sometimes it's when you really bring in your passion that things really happen. Can you say something about that as well?
Yeah, definitely. So originally, when I started my business, I started as a virtual assistant. And I found out that under my name as just doing virtual assistant, I just could not get any clients. I just wasn't getting any money. I wasn't doing anything. So eventually I decided that, hey, wait a sec, my experience is with horses. I've worked for horsey businesses. I've worked for horsey charities. And all the skills that I've built up over the years in other businesses that I have had previously have been very in with the marketing. And I love doing the marketing. I love designing things. I love creating logos. I like making landing pages pretty and creating funnels and things like that. So I decided to shove the equine business into it. And as soon as I set up my Facebook page, within 24 hours, I'd got a client.
Right.
And so it sort of spiraled on from there. It changed because I found that I was a terrible virtual assistant, and it just didn't go well with me because, as you know, my time management and my organisational skills are poor, really, really poor. So I wasn't a very good virtual assistant. So it kind of then morphed into doing the marketing side of it a bit more to help people with ideas for creating content, to help them with their packages and their promotions and things that they've got going up, and just developing businesses rather than working as a virtual assistant in the background.
Yeah, and I think this can happen to many, that you start out as something you figure out along the way. But many are really scared to take that first leap, to leave that employment where you get the salary coming every month and you have your colleagues, you got everything set up. What made you dare to leave that employment of yours and start on your own?
Yeah, for me, I was in a very sort of different position. I've had a few different businesses along the years, but I've always felt that I wanted to work for myself. And I originally had a business that I started from scratch where I designed bridal jewellery. And I used to create tiaras and everything for brides. And I actually became an award-winning accessory designer, but I found that I wasn't very good at earning money doing it. So I got pushed into a job. And then I went to work for a school because my mum told me, get a proper job.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I worked for the school, even though I got the holidays, which was great for being with my children. I got a regular income. I found that I got ill because it just didn't serve me. I do suffer with chronic fatigue or ME. I've also got a condition that makes me feel like I'm constantly on a boat. And sometimes I just can't do anything. I just have to stay in bed. And I found that working for somebody else made me ill. And I was working last year for an equine business, and I could feel that the job was making me ill. And I unfortunately just had to say, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't work for anybody. I think part of it as well is because I felt that it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing, and that I think that was part of the making me ill as well. And so I just left because I felt that I was going to be ill, and it probably took me 2 or 3 months before I was well enough to start my business. Because I really was I'd hit rock bottom by that point because working working in things that didn't feel like it was my calling or what I was supposed to be doing, and I just couldn't do it. So I think I'm unemployable. So I was lucky in that sense. but yeah, I needed something that I could work around my health issues. I needed something that I could be myself in. Because I find when you're working for other people, they've got an expectation of you. They expect to pay you from 9 to 5. They expect you to be at your desk from 9 to 5. They expect you to be answering their calls whenever they want you to have their calls. They expect you to take less breaks, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do that. That's not good for me. And I think there comes a point where you just have to go, I'm going to take this leap, but I'm going to do it because this is what I'm feeling that I need to be doing. So that's how.
That's interesting because Evelyn, who I just spoke to, she also had like this. I think if I really want something, then I think it's what God wants me to do. And you're talking about the calling, that I wasn't doing the right things. My whole body was telling me I wasn't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's of course we would all like to move towards something, towards the entrepreneurship, but you are also moving away, and sometimes that can be so strong. So maybe sometimes we need to have something strong to move away from.
Yeah, and I think I'd been put in certain positions, especially in my job and everything, which I'm very grateful for now. At the time, it really hurt, and I had to learn to stand up for myself, and I had to learn to go, no, this isn't good for me, and you can't treat me like this, and I won't be treated like this. So it kind of built me a level of what I would put up with and what I wouldn't put up with, and I think that was a very important learning curve of being in a job. So that it made me take that leap.
And things that you can probably use now as well. So it's learnings you can use also.
Yeah, definitely. And it was part of the cycle that I had to break. As I know as we worked through our time management, that I had to break several relationships, several things that weren't actually good for me, in order to get to where I am now. So.
So many transformations and changes. So many are afraid to even take the leap. And then once you take the leap, what has been your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur?
My biggest challenge, I've had quite a few really. One is making money. I'm not very good. I'm a giver, so I will give more time. I would give more money. I just didn't value what I did, and so I didn't like to ask for that. So that's something that I've had to learn quite. I'm still learning to a certain extent to what I'm worth and where what I should be charging for things, and to say to myself, no, wait, stop, don't give that away, don't give the farm away for nothing anymore, because so I've always done that. I've always been that sort of person that goes, I'll do that, and then I work myself to the bone, get nothing for it, and wake up and go, oh, that didn't work, did it? And so that's one of my big things. And again, that the timekeeping is something that I've had to work on very strongly. Otherwise I get carried away in my work, and I don't rest, and I don't see my children, and I don't see my family, and so I'm having to really master those things.
Interesting things that you're mentioning, and again I'm thinking about Evelyn being spiritual, and there are those people who feel like you should only give, that you shouldn't ask for money. But if we do, we cannot do it in a sustainable way. Then we can give to a few, and then there's nothing left. But as long as we give more than we ask for, then we can give to so many more. So there's like you say, it's a time for mind shift.
Definitely.
Asking for that money or demanding that to value your time actually is giving even more.
Because so if I do charge for the right amounts and I do get the money, then I can actually serve people better, and I can look after myself, and I can support the charities that I want to support, and I can buy the presents for people, and I can support. And if I don't do that, and I don't earn a living, and I can't feed my family because I'm being generous, it doesn't really help anybody at all.
No, and you can't grow the business and help even more either. So it's really all connected. So if we look at the positive side, what is so we talked about the challenges. What do you like the most about being an entrepreneur?
I just love being able to work with people who I am who I like, people who I feel have the same sort of vibrational energy as me, that they want to work with me and I want to work with them. That is a lovely thing that I enjoy. I also, I just like the freedom and the flexibility, so that I'm financially able to do what I want, and I'm able with my time now to do what I want, because I don't feel tied to my desk. And if I think today, well, actually, what's going to happen if I don't do X to Z today? Is there anything urgent? And I can take the day off and I can go and rest. And the same as, so I've just recently recovered from my, I had an operation, and I've had to take 3 weeks off work. And I couldn't have done that in a job happily. If I'd have been working for somebody else, I would have been filled full of guilt. I'd have been filled full of, when are you coming back to work? When are you coming back to work? Can you do this? And I've been through all that, and I found that it just doesn't work for me. If I need to rest, I need to rest. And if I need to work, I can work. And it's that balance of being able to put my family and my children and get my priorities right, which I think can be muddled when you sometimes work for somebody else, because they feel that they're your priority because they pay you. And whereas now all my clients that do pay me have all said to me, no, take the time off if you need it, whatever. And they have been amazing, and they've totally supported the fact that I'm not well, and it's not me being difficult or whatever, because I work for myself, and if I don't work, I don't earn any money. So
exactly.
It's just so much better for me personally.
And this understanding is probably, like you say, the consequence of you finding people you connect well with the right vibrations, and working with people you like, so you can choose to get your clients. That sounds like luxury, but of course you can choose who you work with. Yeah,
absolutely. And when somebody comes to me with something that I think, don't really think I can do that, I now can actually just say, no, I'm sorry, that's not where I'm gifted, and I could do that for you, but I won't do it well. and I'm happy with that, and they're happy with that. And I think that's quite important in businesses, to have those people that you want to work with, and that are going to bring something to my business as well as me to theirs.
Exactly. And I think that's the part that's so important when we talk about that. It feels strange to ask for money, but to realize that it's much more than money. It's an interaction in many ways. So money is part of it, but just a little part.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've been touching on this holistic time management that you and I have worked together with. Why is time management important, or why is it mastering your time important for you?
Mastering my time was important for me because I felt absolutely miserable. I felt totally torn between what I felt that I should be doing and never doing anything that I wanted to do. I felt that there just wasn't enough hours in the day. I was almost on my knees before I did the time management, because I just couldn't see a way out. I couldn't see a way out of commitments that I had originally been something that I wanted to do, which I then turned into something that I felt that I needed to do, and I then didn't enjoy them, and I'd also had a strange way of looking at time, which I did mention to you. I think, where I lived on a permanent 2 week sort of go round and go round and go round, just like on a constant Groundhog Day. I couldn't plan, I couldn't look forward to anything. I had this set routine, and I felt full of guilt, because people would be like, well, you're not doing this and you're not doing that and you're not doing that. I'm trying to give to everybody for nothing. And so again, I didn't have any time to earn any money, because I'd have to look after my family and they don't pay me. And I had to do other things for charities and they didn't pay me. And I'd have to do things for the church and they didn't pay me. And then suddenly I had no time to actually earn money to feed my family. So it was a big eye opener for me, and it made some real changes in how I view things, and whether I want to do them or I need to do them, and why I'm doing them. And since then I probably do a lot less than I did before. Like, I don't keep my house as nice as I used to, because
I love that. The one story you told, if you want to share it, if you remember, you talked about how you, and I guess the girls were younger than your daughters, when you were cleaning the floors, you had them put on some thick socks, and you would all skate around to clean the floors. That's
we used to do
example.
Yes, skating, kitchen skating, and we'd just put the cleaners on the floor, and then I'd make them all go skating to wipe the floor, just to try and make it a bit more fun, which we just great when they were little, but they won't do it anymore.
No, it's no fun anymore.
They won't clean the floor now. Even if I try to make it fun, they're very like they're at those teenage years where everything comes across as
Exactly, that's a completely different situation again. Yeah, they need you less, but nothing is fun anymore. And when they're small, they want to help you all the time, even if they can't.
And they get in your way.
Exactly, and you're like, yeah, sure. And then you have to spend twice as much, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I know there are women talk to me who want to become their own business owners, and I'm sure some of them will watch this. What advice would you give to them? So if you want to start your own business, what do you think about?
The advice I give to you is there is never going to be the perfect time. You've just got to do it, and you've got to do it now. Don't hang around and say, oh, when I get to this, or when this happens, or when that happens. No, dive in and just take action, because otherwise you'll keep putting it off, and you'll always find an excuse, and there'll always be a reason why you can't do it now, and you'll never feel ready. You'll never, ever, ever, ever feel like you're in the right place. But just take little baby steps every day and do it, because once you've started, even if it's with sort of small steps, set up a Facebook page, or just start, because you will never feel ready. The whole time that you run a business, you feel like an imposter. You think, oh, am I good enough? You're filled with all those self-doubts, and it doesn't go away from when you think about starting a business to actually doing it. I still wake up in the morning and think, oh, I can't do that. I'm not that good. I can't. But you just have to tell yourself to shut up and do it, because we're often better. And that would be my advice. Don't hang around and say, oh, but when I get my website ready, or I haven't got a logo, or I haven't got this. Just do it. Just do something. You start with the worst website, the worst Facebook page, a logo that you could have drawn in a biro pen. It doesn't matter. Just start. Just do it. If that's where you feel that you need to be doing, do it. That would be my advice.
I think that's a really great advice, and it goes for a lot of things in life. There's no point in waiting until this or this or that. It just go do it.
No, there's never going to be a right time for anything in your whole life.
No, or just never a wrong time. It's just doing it. Fantastic. Yeah. What's the next step in your own business?
So the next step in my business is I hope to be creating some marketing courses, and I want to be helping businesses either to start their business, to get their business up and running, and I want to be creating a few courses that's going to take you through creating funnels and lead generations, and building your courses, and again making them look great, because I'm a creative. I like to make things look pretty and and things. So helping more people do that really is my next step.
Yeah, you shared some things that you prefer to do things with paper and pen in our work together. So I know that you're creative to make things pretty.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things that drives everybody crazy, because they'll be like, I need a poster for this, and they're just expecting it to be black and white with some letters on it, and I bring it back and it's all singing, all dancing. But that's just the creative designer in me, I think. Yeah.
Put a sparkle in your business, I think you have as a
it's one of my
our mottos.
Because that's kind of the way I roll, really. I just like to make things stand out for the right reasons, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. No, I'm sure you do. Yeah. So those who are now want to know more about your business or businesses, how can they figure that out?
So probably the best thing to do is to find me on Facebook, either at Jenni Bush Biz or at Equine Business Assistant on Facebook, or you can have a look at my websites, which have got the same name. So just give me Google and get in touch that way and have a good look at what I do.
Perfect. I will add that as well after, so people can see it also in writing if they didn't catch it now that you said it.
Yeah. I talk quite fast.
They might be like, what did you say?
Yeah.
We'll add that. That will be perfect. Thank you so very much, Jenni, for participating in this. As I said, I know that there are several. I will ping them a little extra. I will, let people know that this one is there. And those who have spoken to me, I'll tell them that now you can get some advice.
Yes, brilliant. So, and if anybody wants some advice with starting a business, and you kind of need somebody that's been there, done that, got the T-shirt, that's taken those advice. I must admit, I said to somebody today, it's important to have the right people around you, especially if you want to start a business, because your friends won't get it, your family won't get it, your loved ones probably won't get it, and that's not going to help you to get there either. So it's really important to get to ask people that have done it and follow in their footsteps, because I think that's like by surrounding yourself with the right people, you get success.
Great. Definitely. Thank you so much, Jenni.
Oh, thank you very much, Annika. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
She's waiting for love.